Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my mind space. I'm Tenny, and thank you so much for being here with me today. I'll say welcome back to a new year, welcome back to a new circle, welcome back to a new invitation to return to yourself. Today's episode is an invitation, I'll say, not to forgive quickly, not to forgive perfectly, but to explore what forgiveness actually asks of us when it's true. Not the kind we say out loud to sound healed, not the kind we rush into to stop feeling uncomfortable, but the kind of forgiveness that is embodied in truth and rooted in our essence. In today's episode, we're going to be exploring forgiveness, embodied in truth, rooted in essence. I've chosen this intentionally to open the new season of the podcast and the new season of the new year, because forgiveness isn't just a concept we talk about. It's something we feel, it's something we wrestle with, it's something we grow through, and ultimately something we embody. Forgiveness is not a moment, it's a practice. It's a truth we step into, and it's the essence we return to. So today we're going to explore the full spectrum of forgiveness. The forgiveness we owe ourselves, the forgiveness we extend to others, and the forgiveness that frees our soul from what wasn't ours to carry in the first place. Let's dive in. Forgiveness is often seen as something we do for others. But what I've learned and what I'm still learning is that forgiveness is something we live through. It lives through our body first, long before we ever extend it into our words. Let me break this down. If the body hasn't processed the truth, the forgiveness becomes hollow. And hollow forgiveness eventually collapses. Here's something we don't talk about enough. You cannot forgive what you haven't first told the truth about. You cannot forgive what you haven't first told the truth about. The truth might sound like, this hurt me, this changed me, this crossed my boundaries, this asks too much of me. Forgiveness that skips truth isn't forgiveness. It becomes survival dressed up in grace. And many of us, especially those labeled as strong, have learned to forgive before we were ever allowed to feel. Let's dive into the core about forgiveness a little bit more. Forgiveness has to start with truth, not softness, not pretending, not bypassing, but truth, as raw and as real as it is, the truth of what happened, the truth of how it made you feel, the truth of what it's cost you, the truth of what you've learned, and ultimately the truth of what you will no longer accept. Forgiveness is not denial. It's not about erasing the past. It's not about excusing someone's attitude or behavior, and it's definitely not about abandoning your boundaries. Forgiveness is the moment you say, I choose not to let this define me anymore. It's reclaiming yourself, it's remembering yourself, it's returning to yourself. Let's talk about forgiveness we avoid the most, the hardest one, the hardest kind of forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves. Think about it. We all carry shame from situations like it's our responsibility, like it's a badge of honor. We replay moments we can't change. We punish and torture ourselves for decisions we made with the knowledge we had at the time. Don't get me wrong. Self-forgiveness isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's about letting yourself evolve from it. Self-forgiveness is embodied when you stop fighting your past and start integrating it. When you stop judging your past self and start understanding that version of you. And ultimately, when you stop holding yourself hostage and start allowing yourself to grow. Let's break this down even further. When I say embodied forgiveness, I'm referring to how forgiveness can be somatic, not just a thought, but something the body feels. Think about it. Forgiveness lives in our nervous system finally relaxing. It lives in our chest softening without forcing it. It lives in our jaw releasing. And the truth is, forgiveness lives in the body long before it lives in the mind. Think about it. You know you're moving towards forgiveness when your body no longer braces at the memory. Not because it didn't matter, not because it didn't affect you, but because you're no longer abandoning yourself while you're remembering it. That's embodied forgiveness. Now let's explore forgiving others without losing ourselves. The truth is, forgiving others is often misunderstood. Forgiveness doesn't mean accepting something back. It doesn't mean access back to you. It doesn't mean pretending the harm or the situation didn't happen. The core of forgiveness we misunderstand the most is forgiveness is really an internal release, not an external return. You can forgive someone and still choose distance. You can forgive someone and still hold your boundaries. You can forgive someone and still say unapologetically, you don't have a place in my life anymore. Forgiveness isn't about restoring a situation or a particular relationship. It's ultimately about restoring yourself. It's about freeing your energy from that emotional debt someone else created. That's forgiveness rooted in essence. The truth is, forgiveness rooted in essence isn't loud. It doesn't need weaknesses. It doesn't need validation. It's quiet. It's firm. It's self-honoring. Forgiveness can coexist with grief. Forgiveness can happen without closure. That doesn't mean it's incomplete. It just means it's honest and it's true to you. I recount a time when I thought forgiveness meant being soft and agreeable at the cost of myself. Now I've learned true embodied forgiveness asks me to be honest before I can be gentle. It asks me to sit with the disappointment, the loss, the version of me, and let it go without rewriting the truth. That was harder than holding on, but it was true, it was embodied, and it was honest. The truth is, forgiveness arrives when the body feels safe enough to release, not when the mind demands it. I also want to explore something we often miss out when we talk about forgiveness. The spiritual essence of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a release of spiritual weight, whether you like it or not. It's the clearing of your core and the softening of your soul. It's that moment when you say, I choose peace over resentment. I choose freedom over attachment. I choose myself again. Forgiveness is essence of who you are, of who we are, underneath it all. Underneath the stories, underneath the armor, it's essence of our soul returning to its light. And forgiveness without boundaries is self-abandonment. Forgiveness with boundaries is self-respect. Boundaries protect the healing. Forgiveness creates boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they're doors. Doors you choose when to open and when to keep closed. Think about it. Forgiveness is the release, and boundaries are the protection. Remember, forgiveness, when embodied, doesn't drain you, it steadies you. Forgiveness, when rooted in essence, it doesn't erase the past, it loosens the grip on your now. And when it's true, it doesn't ask you to shrink or to be more understanding, it asks you to come home to yourself. Forgiveness is not a destination, it's a practice, it's a returning, it's a remembering. May this year bring you clarity, softness, truth, and the courage to let go of what doesn't align with you anymore. Thank you for sitting with me in this space today. Thank you for choosing yourself. Until next time, be gentle with the truth, stay rooted and stay aligned.